Many kinds of plants and animals live together in nature. Their numbers and kinds may change from year to year, but overall, we say that there is a balance. However, there are things, including man, that can upset this balance. Food is one of the most important parts of an animal's life. To understand the balance in nature, we must understand how animals get food. Almost all food comes from plants. Plants take air, water, and minerals from the soil. They use the energy of the sun to grow and live. Many animals eat plants. Even this grizzly bear eats a large amount of plants. Other examples of animals that eat plants might be aphids, prairie dogs, and deer. Other animals eat the animals that eat plants, such as a ladybird beetle, a pelican, and a wolf. Animal wastes and their dead bodies add minerals to the soil. Plants use these minerals to make their own food. This is part of the balance. The way that food is passed from one living thing to another is called a food chain. This elk is eating grass. It is a short food chain of only 2 parts, grass and the elk. If something eats the elk, then there are 3 parts. A 3-part food chain might be like this. A ground squirrel eats plants. And then is eaten by a fox. Plants, ground squirrel, fox. Food chains can be longer. For instance, if we magnify a drop of water from a pond, we see many living things in the water. These are euglena, small, simple plants that make food from minerals in the water and the energy of the sun. These are rotifers, microscopic animals that may eat the euglena. These young mosquitoes, called larvae, may strain rotifers and other bits of food out of the water. This dragonfly nymph is eating the mosquito larvae. This small fish eats dragonfly nymphs. Small fish are eaten by this bird. If the bird is not eaten, the minerals in its body re-enter the food chain when it dies. That is the entire food chain, in this order. tiny plants, small animals like rotifers, mosquito larvae, dragonfly young, fish, and a bird. Some food chains are longer and some are shorter. Each food chain has 2 or more links, and every food chain starts with plants. When you see an animal, try to figure out where it is in its food chain. A food pyramid is like a food chain, except it has to do with numbers of plants and animals. Thousands of tiny plants are needed to feed one rotifer. Many rotifers are eaten by one mosquito larva. And many mosquito larvae are needed to feed one dragonfly nymph. A fish may eat many dragonfly nymphs. One bird may eat many tiny fish. So we have a food pyramid that might look like this. There are usually smaller numbers as you go up the food chain or triangle. Plants always start the chain. Each plant or animal uses energy to live and grow, so all the energy is not passed on to the next link in the food chain. When we understand food chains and food pyramids, we can see how the balance in nature works. And we can see what happens if the food chain is broken. We spray for mosquitoes because they are pests. There might not be as many fish and birds if something kills the young mosquitoes. Also, if there weren't many fish, there might be more mosquitoes. Woodpeckers eat insects that are harmful to trees. This food chain is made of trees, insects, and the woodpecker. If there weren't enough birds to keep the insect numbers low, what would happen to the trees? These trees have had most of their leaves eaten by caterpillars. There is plenty of food for the caterpillars, but there are not enough natural enemies to eat the caterpillars. This is how nature can get out of balance. Many things can upset the balance in nature. A lack of rain can cause plants to die. Plants may get diseases. What would happen if there were no fish or other enemies to eat young mosquitoes? The balance in nature can easily be upset. These salmon are coming up a river to lay their eggs. The eggs will die, and there will be no salmon in the future if the water is muddy. These bears depend on salmon as an important part of their food. When we pollute water, we upset the balance in nature for thousands of living creatures, including man. We must cut down trees to build homes. We must clear land for living. But we must remember that every time we change our land, we change the balance in nature. No living thing lives entirely to itself. Most plants use sunlight and take moisture and minerals from the soil to make food. Animals need plants or other animals for food. Plants and animals form food chains and food pyramids. The body wastes and dead bodies of plants and animals re-enter the food chain. When the living things in an area are all doing well, we say that there is a balance in nature.